record. Okay. All right. Yahuah, we come before you as always, Father, thanking you for all things. Father, we just bless your name. We thank you for preserving us, Father, this whole week. We thank you for feeding us and giving us raiment. And also, Father, providing us with all the benefits that you give us that we really don't deserve. We thank you for all things, Father. We praise the name of Yahuah, Father, because we know this is the only way and the only name that will bring us salvation. Also, Father, we thank you for Yahushua HaMashiach and the Ruach HaKodesh. We just ask that you open our eyes and ears so that we can kind of get an understanding of your word. We need all of it so that we know how to carry ourselves, how to talk, how to walk, and how to shine our light for others. And we ask these things, Father, in Yahushua's name, sincerely. Hallelujah. All right, this is where we left off at last week with this here. And we're going to keep going through this stuff. It's a lot of information. So we left off here, the revenge of the Father. We're going to keep moving. Now, we know we've seen this board before. And we know that dealing with the Father's house, this is what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get into the Father's house. But we know that's where all the blessings and everything else that we want is there. We've done this before. We did a class on the Father's house, so we understand these things. So we know how our house would be if we try to do things by our own strength, our righteousness, or what we think is faith, and our good works, which are really just filthy rags. And then we know that we need the Mashiach, the living Torah, the target, the path to the Father's house. We got to walk the path by doing the Father's pleasure or his will, keeping commandments, right? Let's go to Luke 1:33. We're going to be hopping around a little bit today, but we're going to have, it's going to be a good class, I think. Y'all had me up all these days early in the morning working on it. And he shall reign over the house of Jacob forever, and of his kingdom there shall be no end. And that's what we're looking for. Because when we're dealing with these people that we're dealing with now, these the kings of this earth, they don't have no pity on anybody. They don't have any mercy on anybody. I mean, we see how they run their governments, a lot of wickedness involved, and we see how the people are starting to stand up against it. And believe me, once they try to do that, they will crush them. So just a matter of time. So we got to join ourselves and see ourselves, right, as at Sinai. That's what we always got to think about when we walk in this walk. You know, when the people was at the mountain, how they was acting. You had those that murmured, you had those that came on Moshe's side. We always want to come and be on the Father's side, right? Let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 2. This stuff is very important. Everything about the Father's word is very important. That's why we try not to leave anything out. Sometimes these classes get long, but I mean, my teacher told me when I started teaching this thing, he said, cover everything that you can think of. And that's what I try to do. 2 Chronicles chapter 2, verse 12 through 13. Huram said, moreover, blessed be Yahuah Elohim of Israel, that made the Shamayims and the Aret, who have given to David the king a wise son, endued with prudence and understanding, that might build an house for Yahuah, and a house for his kingdom. And now I have sent a cunning man endued with understanding of Huram, my fathers. So this is how we want to be, because these brothers was filled with the spirit. We know that because we learned that when we had the class on the temple, how all the furniture and all the, the curtains, I mean, everything that was made, even down to the priestly garments, was done with people that he put his Ruach in to give them wisdom, right? So the Commonwealth of Israel, their covenant, their Bible must follow instructions given to them. So that's what people have to understand. If you want to be a fellow citizen and become the Commonwealth of Israel, you have to do all the things that was commanded to Israel, no matter who you are, because we see that the Father is no respecter of a person. I mean, Israel does have a covenant with him. They are the apple of his eye, but when you really start to understand the Father, it's really, to me, it's really talking about those that's obeying him. So this is what we got to keep in mind. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 8. Hebrews chapter 8. And look at this. Hebrews 8:8. And it says, for finding fault with them, he says, behold, the days come, says Yahuah, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. So we know he found fault with them and not with the covenant, because we know when we go into this word new is an added thing that they did again, because we're going to see where they try to put the word make. He's going to make a covenant. No, he's going to renew the covenant. That's what this word here means. That's what they should have used. But again, when we use our tools, we can see that it's renewed, it's repaired, because it was broken down, like this house here. This is how Israel left it. So he had to come, do what he had to do so he could renew it. He could renew the house. This is what it's all about. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 2. Verse 12, and then we're going to jump down to verse 19. That at that time you were without Christ, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel, and strangers from the covenant of promise, having no hope, and without Elohim in the world. Now, they'll try to take this and say, well, this is talking about, no, it's not talking about the other nations. The strangers was the children that was scattered all over the place, the house of Israel. They were strangers to the commonwealth because they didn't understand how to do anything. A lot of them weren't even circumcised. They didn't know anything. They had to be taught all over again. See? Right? Let's go down to verse 19. Now, therefore, you are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and of the household of Elohim. So again, this is always talking about the children. Now, we're going to see one place today when it's not talking about the children. It's actually talking about the stranger or the proselyte, if you want to call them that, in Genesis chapter 10. It's actually going to be talking about that. We're going to run into that today. Now, Deuteronomy 29, 9 through 15. Keep therefore the words of this covenant and do them, that you may prosper in all that you do. You stand this day, all of you, before Yahuah your Elohim, your captains of your tribe, your elders, and your officers with all the men of Israel, your little ones, your wives, and thy stranger that is in thy camp, from the hewer of thy wood unto the drawer of thy water, that thou shouldest enter into covenant with Yahuah thy Elohim, and into his oath which Yahuah Elohim maketh with thee this day, that he may establish thee today for a people unto himself, as even the stranger was here standing there listening to this too, and that he may be unto thee an Elohim, as he hath said unto thee, and as he hath sworn to thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. That's what this whole covenant thing is about. Well, one part of the covenant anyway. Neither with you only do I make this covenant and with this oath, but with him that standeth here with us this day, Hebrews and the stranger, before Yahuah Elohim, and also with him that is not here with us this day. So that says that any Hebrew that wants to do the right thing and keep his will, he's good. Any stranger, because we don't know who the relatives of these strangers were, but we know that we have strangers out here that love Yahuah, sometimes more than even Israel does, because you can tell by their obedience and their commitment. So, I mean, not just Israel, anyone who will. This is what this is saying. So all you got to do is do the right steps that you need to come in covenant with him, no matter who you are, because again, it doesn't matter. You're going to have to get in covenant with him. Otherwise, he does not know you. Now, the benefits of obedience, the benefits of covenant. Psalms 91 and 14, because he has set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high because he has known my name. Very, very important. But we keep hearing that it doesn't matter. But it seems that all these classes we've been going through, it seems like it matters to him. Proverbs 8 and 17, I love them that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me. Right? So if you're not getting up early enough, you're not getting enough studying in, okay, no matter what your day is supposed to be, if you know that you got to be at work at 8 o'clock, what's wrong with getting up at 4:30 and studying? And we know Romans 8:28, that all things work together for good to them that love Elohim, to them who are the called according to his purpose. So that tells us we're here. We're trying to keep a Sabbath day. So, I mean, we couldn't do that if we wasn't called toward his purpose. Because as we get through this series and we start looking at after all the plagues and everything else, these people still won't repent. So that shows that the Father has to be the one that's drawing you. There's no other way. Because after all of that, anybody in their right mind would try to repent. After all the stuff we're going to see, it's going to be brutal. Romans 8:35, who shall separate us from the love of Christ? I mean, is it a basketball career? Shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or peril or sword? There should be nothing that stops you from being obedient and worshiping and trying to keep these commandments. I don't care what it is. So why Paul asked this question. So we have to ask ourselves this question. But I mean, again, this path is for everybody to walk it for themselves. The prophets and the Mashiach suffered. We all will bear a cross. We got to understand this. Those chosen from the foundation of the world definitely will. It's not even a question about that. And even for those that happen to get out there in the wilderness, you can best believe. You think it's going to be easy out there? No. Mm-mm. It's going to be rebels out there that he's going to kill. You understand what I'm saying? He's going to be people going to be getting taught and all these things, and you're going to have to walk a fine line. And it might not be no food. I mean, you got to remember, this is why we practice the righteous acts, and this is why we search the scriptures. Because trust me, by the time we get through this series, you're going to see a lot of the stuff that you saw all over the book with these plagues, and especially when it comes to Egypt. And when he came out of Egypt, sometimes they didn't have no water, sometimes they didn't have no food. I mean, it's not going to be, well, I'm in the wilderness and I'm safe. No, it's not going to be like that, because that's not the Elohim we serve. He always wants to prove you and me. That's just his way. Unleavened bread. So we can see that on unleavened bread. Remember, we said that we were going to be looking at a lot of these different things that's happening in Revelation. We're going to be able to see the different feast days. Revelation 20:4, and I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahshua. See? I mean, so again, we see in this basketball player, he's backing down. And for the word of Elohim, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with the Mashiach of Christ 1,000 years. So how many of us, if we end up being in this situation, right? I think it was Sardis. I know Philadelphia got it made. How many of us facing this guillotine? You're gonna be able to, be headed for the witness of the Mashiach? Question you better ask yourself. You got to know if you're ready for this, especially when you see people being beheaded. Are you gonna be able to do that? We won't know until it happens, will we? If it happens. So the tribulation is 3.5 years, and we've been hearing for years and years and 7 years, which is the trick of Hasatan. Because if you say, well, I got 7 years, I ain't worried about it. The first 3.5, I'll go ahead and try to see what's going on, and then after that, I'll get myself together for the last 3. Well, you're gonna get caught with your pants down, because there is no 7 years. Even though, again, these different scribes try to trick you and switch words around and all these things. This is why we have to be the kind of detectives we have to be, because that's the only way the Spirit is going to reveal the things to you that you need to know. That's what's going to make you the very elect and not just the elect. Daniel 9:2. In the first year of his reign, Daniel, understood by what? By books. What books? These scriptures. This is what they were searching. So by books, this is how you're going to understand. You ain't reading this book. You ain't taking out time. Videos is good. I have nothing wrong with videos, but you got to read. That's the only way you're going to get this down in your spirit. The number of the years whereof the word of Yahuah came to Jeremiah the prophet, that he would accomplish 70 years in the desolations of Jerusalem. So this man, and look at this. He said, I understand by books the number of years whereof the word of Yahuah came to Jeremiah the prophet. So that tells me he's looking at the book of Jeremiah. You see? So this is what they did. Because remember, there was no letters of Paul. So all you had was from Genesis to Malachi. And honestly, that's what we need to master. Because once we do that, we start looking at these letters, we won't be confused. And I know I sound like a puppet or a parrot, and it's like a broken record, but I'm just trying to tell you what it is. Daniel 7:25. He shall speak words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and shall think to change the times and the law, which they've already done. That's why most people think that the law is for the Jews and or the Jewish people, and they shall be given into his hand for a time, times, and half a time. So now we're gonna start seeing this 3.5 years. But that's what that is. That's 3.5 years. No 7. Let's keep rolling. Zechariah 4:14. Then said he, these are the 2 anointed ones that stand by Yahuah of the whole earth. And you're going to hear people say this is Elijah and Moses. You can't prove that. But they try to say because of the transfiguration on the mountain, but it never says that. I mean, it does liken them to both houses, the house of Judah and the house of Israel, right? So, I mean, it's a couple of you. Some people they look at it like this is representative of the Father and the Son, because I like the one about Israel though, because Paul does call Israel an olive tree. This was 2 olive trees, right? Let's go look at them. Let's see what kind of characteristics they had. We got to understand this stuff. Everything. I know I say that all the time too, but you got to understand this stuff. And there was giving me a reed like unto a rod. And the messenger stood, saying, rise and measure the temple of Elohim, and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles. Now, if we went to this word Gentiles here, it's going to tell you those of another nation, the heathen. Then it's going to start bouncing down. That's the strongest one. Then it's going to bounce all the way down. It's going to go into the multitude. But here, this is talking about other nations, right? Because that's who's over there right now. But we know we did the class. We last night we saw this. We know that part of the Gentiles lineage is who? The Ashkenazis, and that's who's over there right now. See, for it is given unto the Gentiles, in the holy city shall they tread underfoot 40 months, 3.5 years. We're talking around this time because we know they've been here since 1940. 19 is it 40? No, not 42. It's 62. I can't remember when this 3-day war was or whatever. And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days. And there we go again. See, 3.5 years, clothes and sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the Elohim of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceeded out of their mouth and devoured their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. So these 2 beings are very, very important to the Creator and the Father. These have power to shut heaven. So he's giving them power. Now let's look at some of these things that they're going to be able to do and see if we can remember, if we can get an idea of where the last time we saw these things. These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them into blood. We've seen these before, and to smite the earth with all plagues. See, as often as they will, and when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our sovereign was crucified. Oh, that's Jerusalem, huh? And we know, if anybody's been over to Jerusalem lately, it's one of the gay capitals of the world. It's a whole lot of other craziness, a lot of killing and murdering going on over there. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves, because they hate them. No, people don't want to hear the truth, and at this point, they really ain't gonna want to hear no commandments, because their mind is gonna be gone. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. How did they torment them? Was they grabbing them? Was they beating them? No, they were speaking the words of the Father. They were speaking about the covenant, the 10 Commandments, the statutes, and the judgments. They was going to talking about the prophets, telling them the same thing. But we see now we can't even watch TV with 2 men kissing, 2 women kissing. I mean, it's crazy. Soon, I guess you'll start seeing older people with little kids. That's got to be next. And by the time they get done conditioning the people, they ain't gonna care. That's gonna be a normal thing real soon. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Elohim entered into them, because we know that's that breath, right? And they stood up on their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And they heard a great voice from the Shamaim saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to the heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. So they're going to be able to see this. But when these folks die, when these 2 witnesses die, these people are going to be partying. Because, I mean, they was worrying them to death. And what it shows, too, is that means they got to change their lifestyle. People don't want to do that. I don't really believe in that book anyway. It's a fairy tale. Why? Because they like what their flesh is doing, and they want to continue doing it. Most of us, whenever we've been in this thing so long, we do something wrong, we have guilt, it beats us down, and we carry this thing with us. Sometimes we find ourselves like, man, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And it's a price to pay for doing it. It's not the same for those that don't know him, that's not in covenant with them. So that's to them, it doesn't even matter to them. They ain't even thinking about him. Right? And then they're full of the ways of Hasatan. Now, from things to come, many prophets of old were inspired by Yahuah to write of the things that are to come. Their prophecies picture a time of tribulation so great that it has never been equal since the beginning of man, nor ever will be again, as we read in Matthew 24 and 21. For then will be great tribulation, such as has not come to pass since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever will be. So we can very well see how the earth is, the book says that the earth rocks to and fro. It's sick. It's sick. And we've done lessons on this to show you them. We show you these animals, and everything is, now the Mississippi River is drying up. They said, well, it happened back in whatever. And it's just, but people, that's what they take for granted. But Yah is showing those that have wisdom that he's filled them with to see what's going on. So we need to kind of be making sure we keep pressing forward, trying to get ready for this thing. Because once all these resources and stuff starts running out, it's not going to be good. It's going to be a lot of killing, a lot of violence. But we know if we stay up under the Creator's wing, we're going to be safe. And like the 3 boys said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, what do they say? Look here, man, we ain't worried about it. You go ahead and do what you want to the fire. Because guess what? If our Creator save us, he do. If he don't, he don't. But no matter what, I ain't bowing down to you. So do what you do. And we know that Yahuah loves that type of stuff. So what did he do? He sent a malak there to watch over them boys while they was in the fire and to blow the king's mind, right? Now, the prophet Daniel, speaking of the same time period, the midst of the great tribulation said in Daniel 12 and 1. And at that time will Michael stand up, or Michael, the great prince who stands for the children of your people. And we know we can go to Genesis chapter, what is that? Is it Deuteronomy or Genesis 32? I can't, it's going to come to me, but we know that, well, we're going to look at that. Because wherever Israel is at, the Father has messengers standing or watching over them all over the world. So But we know when we look at it in the King James, it takes it. You wouldn't even know if we didn't have the two wonderful two that Yah blessed us with, like the Septuagint. And there will be a time of trouble, such as it was never there was a nation, since there was a nation to that same time. So it's going to be terrible. And at that point, your people will be delivered. Everyone who will be found written in the book of life. Now, does that mean that you're not gonna face persecution? No, it does not. Does that mean that you might not end up going to jail and getting your head chopped off? No, it does not. You still delivered. Why? Because you kept the testimony, you was beheaded, and guess what? You're gonna be in the first resurrection. You're gonna get a white garment, all that. The stone, the hope. We went through all this last week. All right. Now, Daniel 9:4. And I prayed unto Yahuah my Elohim, and made my confession, and said, O sovereign, the great and dreadful Elohim, keeping the covenant and mercy to them that love him, and to them that keep his commandments. That's the key right there. I mean, he never said here, for those that use your own rights. He never said that. For those that are under grace, he never said that. He keeping covenant, right? And mercy to them. See, that's how you get the mercy, by keeping covenant, because he's keeping covenant with those that love him, right? And keep his commandments. It's just real simple. It's just real simple. But that's for us because we full of the spirit and we know what's right and wrong. Now, and while I was yet speaking and praying and confessing my sin and the sin of my people, Israel, so this is why we ask for our forgiveness, and we also ask for him to forgive our forefathers, and presenting my supplication before Yahuah my Elohim for the holy mountain of my Elohim. Yea, while I was speaking in prayer, even the man Gabriel, whom I had seen in the vision at the beginning, being caused to fly swiftly, touched me about the time of the evening oblation. And he informed me and talked with me and said, O Daniel, I am now come forth to give thee skill and understanding. So what do we see here? We see that this brother was praying one of the times of prayer, while he was praying during one of the oblations. At the beginning of that supplication, the commandment came forth, and I am come to show thee, for thou art greatly beloved. Therefore, understand the matter and consider the vision. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins. That's what it's always about, and to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, and seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. Boy, that's a whole lot. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem until Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again in the wall, even in troublous times. And we know that who's going to actually do the building. The prince is going to be in charge of it, just like Solomon was, but Zerubbabel is going to be the one that puts it together because he was faithful. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with the flood. And until the end of the war, desolations are determined. So we know that this happened at the Mashiach was crucified, right? Here come Titus, and that's 70 AD. And he shall, now watch this, and he shall confirm the covenant, not make. He shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations, because they are all over the place, he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, right? And that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. So Genesis 22:18, and it says, and in thy seed shall all nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. This is the covenant that he came to confirm, the one that was made through Abraham. See, so that all nations can come back up under this covenant, the same one, not no new covenant, because the 10 commandments can't be tampered with unless you want to get killed. That's the covenant. We know this. In this class, we understand that. So, right? So let's keep rolling. It all goes back to Abraham. When you start looking at some of these things, and you can't find Abraham, Isaac, or Jacob, but especially Abraham in it, it's a problem. Something ain't right. So confirm the covenant. Confirm. It means to prevail. I want you to remember these words. These words like prevail and powerful and glory, right? Have strength, be strong, be powerful, be mighty, be great, right? He did that because he did everything he was supposed to do. He prevailed. And this is what some of us going to have. Well, all of us going to have to do it. Like I say, whether you go to the place of safety, because we already know you ain't flying away till it's all said and done, right? Let's go to Galatians. Look at this. This flying away thing. I feel bad for people with that because it's not. I mean, it's just sad. And the thing about it, if they would just listen, but most of the time they won't even. If they listen to you, it's gonna go in one ear and come out the other. Brethren, I speak after the man, as after the manner of man. Though it be but a man's covenant. So what he's saying right here, look, man, I'm just showing you how two men put something together. That's all he's saying. And look, if they got an agreement between each other, yet if it be confirmed, no man disannul it or add unto it. See, that word confirm is very powerful. Now to Abraham and his seed, um, were the promises made. He says, not unto seeds as of many, but as of one, and to thy seed, which is the Mashiach. That's why we got to go through the Mashiach, because he prevailed. And this I say that the covenant that was confirmed before of Elohim in Christ, the law, which was 430 years after, cannot disallow that it should make the promise of none effect. So it's can't nothing change that. So I mean, how can he come and make a new covenant? That don't make no sense. He can repair the covenant, but he can't make no new one. Genesis 22 and 18. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast what? Obeyed my voice. He has prevailed. Every test I came at you with, you passed it. And then I told you to take your only son, which basically was a representation of me and my son, and you was willing to kill him for me. Romans 5 and 8, 15 and 8. Now I say that Yahushua HaMashiach was a minister of the circumcision for the truth of Elohim, to confirm the promises made unto the fathers. So this word confirm is very, very important. But like I said, we're going to show you what these scholars do. So, I mean, I know people like the NIV and the SUV. Sometimes I use it too, because sometimes they have real strong meanings, or they have like a, you can kind of, if you use a lot of these in the lineage, you can see where they changed it for you. But again, we don't know I don't know if they're doing it on purpose or they just missed it. Because when I do these videos, sometimes I miss stuff. We only human. But that's a big thing to get by you. Big thing. Because it changes the whole sentence. And so that's why people run around talking about, we're under the new covenant. Nah, you ain't you definitely ain't even under that yet. Daniel 9 and 7. And he shall make a strong covenant. See, I'm using ESV right here. With many for 1 week, and for 1/2 week he shall put an end to sacrifice and all. And on the wing, because he did that when the veil of the temple ripped, and on the wing of abomination shall come one who makes desolate until the decreed end is poured out on the desolator. So it's already decreed that the desolator is going to die. But this is out of the Septuagint. And 1 week shall establish, and 1 week shall establish the covenant with many. Establish is the same as confirm, but make. Okay, I already made my business. I'm selling golf balls. I'm rolling. I'm making good money. Now I had a fire, so I need to go ahead and reestablish. I need to go ahead and get it established. I need to put it on the Wall Street, get it established. But if I'm gonna make something, I already made it. See, that's why these words are so important. And 1 week shall establish the covenant with many, and in the midst of the week my sacrifice and drink offering shall be taken away. And on the temple shall be, we see that's in parentheses, so we see that was added, the abomination of desolation, and at the end of time, an end shall be put to the desolation. See, so I'm glad in our class, and for those that come up here and share time with us, please go look at that Q Bible, and it's all kind of tools. If you don't want to look at that and then go to your Bible, you can put it up side by side. It's just too many tools, and it's free. Now, and in the midst of the week, he shall cause a sacrifice and oblation to cease. Yasha, Matthew 27 and 50, Yahusha, Yasha, Yahushua, when he had cried again with the loud voice, yielded up the ghost. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from top to bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent. That was it. That was it for animal sacrifice. So that got to make you wonder. He's already, now, if we didn't search the scripture, we would not know about Zerubbabel. We would not know that the prince is going to be right there rebuilding everything. So when this third temple or this new temple they're trying to put together, boy, you're going to run your little stuff right out there and be right out there with him and get caught right up. Because it ain't supposed to be no other temple on this earth unless the Mashiach is involved in it. And we know we don't see him nowhere. And the priest shall dip his finger in some of the blood and sprinkle it 7 times before Yahuah, even before the veil, Leviticus 4 and 17. Because that's what the veil was. It was for, it was to keep you separated so that the glory of Yahuah Elohim wouldn't kill you. The priest had to go back there once a year, but then he still, when he got that blood, that's where they had to throw the blood. By a new and living way, this is what he came. So when he came and he died, and now the veil is his flesh. That's why it tore. We ain't no need for this right now. By a new and living way, which he hath consecrated for us through the veil, that is to say, his flesh. So what they over there putting up another temple for? What they trying to find a red heifer and all this stuff for? They hate the Mashiach, so it can't be for him. That means they doing this for somebody else. Psalms 91, 1-4. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High will abide under the shadow of the Almighty. We say to Yahuah, you are our refuge and our fortress. You are our Father, and you we will trust. Surely he will deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome deadly pestilence. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings will you trust. His truth will be your shield and buckler. Not my truth, not what somebody else's opinion is. His truth, his decree. The scriptural definition of truth written in Psalms 119, 142, 151. Your righteousness is an everlasting righteousness because your law is the truth. Right? You are near, O Yahuah, and all your commandments are true. Therefore, King David was inspired to write that Yahuah's laws are our shield and buckler. Right? And continue to read in Psalms 91. Let's go there. Just trying to show. I mean, that's our shield and our buckler. And so it kind of makes me kind of sad when people, man, I don't have to do that no more. Yes, you do, man. You really need to just sit here and listen to me, man. Just give me 10 minutes of your time because you really need to understand this. We already see that the world is going to be so bad. Never like a time like this ever on the earth at any time. And you ain't got no protection. Like I used to listen to rap back in the day with the Wu-Tang Clan. They said, coming in the name to proclaim your fame for protection. And you don't know no lessons, it's not going to be good. And that's that 5% of stuff. But all I'm saying is, we have to, if we believe this, we have to know it. If we believe this, we have to search it out. And the hardest part about it with the flesh is actually doing it. Psalms 91. I'm using my tablet today, so I might be going a little quick. Psalms 91, 5-16. Let's look at that. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness. Oh, so this pestilence, these plagues, these pestilence, it's a spirit, nor for the destruction that wastes at noonday. So these things are walking around right now. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand. But it shall not come nigh to thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made Yahuah, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. But he shall give his messengers charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. That's the same thing that Hasatan tried to throw on the Mashiach. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, The young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample underfoot, because he has set his love upon me. Therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. So he's going to show you his salvation, not somebody else's salvation, what they telling you how they believe or what they think. That's why we got to seek, you got to save yourself. You got to search this thing out for your own self to find out what his salvation is. And we just got done reading the base of the house is these commandments and the covenant and statutes and judgments. No other way around it. In Psalms 91, 5 through 16, you will not be afraid of terror at night, nor of the arrow that flies by day, nor of the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor of the destruction that wastes at noonday. 1,000 will fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, but will not come near you. Only with your eyes you will look, and you will see the reward of the wicked. Because you have made Yahuah your refuge, because you have made the Most High your house. No evil will be, that's why I'm doing this again. No evil will befall you, know, where any plague come near your dwelling. For he will give his Malachim charge concerning you, to keep, protect you in all your ways. They will bear you up in their hands, so you will not strike your foot against a stone. You will tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon you will trample underfoot. Yahuah, because you have set your love upon me, I will deliver you. This is what he's saying. Cause you to escape. I will set you on high, because you know my name. You will call on me, and I will answer you. I will be with you in trouble. I will deliver you and honor you. With long life, I will satisfy you, and I will show you my salvation. Yahushua HaMashiach. But you got to believe it. That's the only way this is going to work. And again, I was talking to some people this morning. They're going through some stuff. I said, man, we all go through stuff. We all say something that we shouldn't have said. We all touch something that we shouldn't have touched. You just got to come up out of that thing. You got to just go for it, man. Because at this time, this time in point in the game, it's really kind of late for us to keep making these same stupid mistakes. That's all I'm saying. And I ain't trying to offend nobody. I'm just saying that goes for me too. I always include myself in this. Because the more of this that you know, really the more dangerous for you that it actually is. Okay, now let us fully understand other truth which are written in Psalms 91. What is this secret place spoken of in Psalms 91:1? King David was first inspired to write of this secret place in Psalms 27, 3 through 5. Heart shall have no fear, though a host should camp against us. Though war should rise against us, because we're going to have war coming against us, we are confident in this. One thing we desire of Yahuah, that we will seek after all the days of our life, that we may dwell in the house of Yahuah. This is what we're trying to get to see your beauty and to inquire of you in your sanctuary. You get a chance, go up there and look at that word beauty. In the time of trouble, you will hide us in your pavilion, in your house, in the secret place. You will hide us. You will set us high upon a rock. So we know that we want to get to his house, but we see that this secret place kind of represents his house, right? Before we able to get there and actually be in the Father's house, right? Let's keep rolling. Exodus 14:3, because he's never changing. Again, if you want to understand what's going on in this book of Revelation, you got to seek out from Genesis to Malachi. Exodus 14:3, for Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, they are entangled in the land. The wilderness has shut them in. So we see they was in the wilderness. Pharaoh thought they was trapped. Well, we got them trapped in the wilderness. We're going to get them now, but not understanding that the creator of all things was trying to bring Israel out there. That's his bride. Remember, he rescued her from the dragon in the first place. And now he's trying to bring her out to the wilderness to be with him in his tabernacle. Hosea 2:14, therefore, behold, I will lure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak comfortably unto her. And I will give her her vineyards from thence, and the valley of Achor for a door of hope. Because see, that's that door we was talking about. We got to go through the door. and she shall sing there, as in the days of her youth, and as in the day when she came up out of the land of Egypt. And it shall be at that day, says Yahuah, that thou shalt call me husband, Ishi, and shalt call me no more Bali, Jesus, Jehovah, all these things, Allah, no, no, no. For I will take away the names of Balaam out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. And in that day will I make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, same thing he did in the Garden of Eden, and with the fowls of heaven, and with the creeping things of the ground. But we would not notice if we wasn't searching the scripture. And I will break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth, and will make them to lie down safely. Because he told you that in the Psalms, he gonna lead you by the still waters. Sheep cannot get in, they gotta be by still waters, because their wool is so heavy, if they slip and fall in that water, they're drowned. So he take them by the still waters, then they can lie down safely. They don't have to worry. They can go get a drink. It's just this man. Yahuah is so awesome. And I will betroth thee unto me forever. That's a husband and wife thing. Yea, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness. But see, it's gonna have to be right this time. I'm gonna make sure, because I'm gonna go ahead and put all this stuff in your mind so you don't start acting up and be the bad wife like you was in the very beginning. And in judgment, and in loving kindness, and in mercy, see? And in grace. I would even betroth thee unto me in faithfulness, and thou shalt know I am Yahuah. So this is what he's gonna do. All these things, you're gonna be betrothed to him forever, and it's gonna be a righteous marriage with good judgment, and he's gonna treat you with loving kindness and mercy like he did from the very beginning, right? And he gonna even betroth thee into me in faithfulness. That's why he's gonna write these commandments in your mind. That way you can't help but be faithful. See, that stuff is all here. Now, Revelation 3 and 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So we know this is who? Philadelphia again. It's Philadelphia. They're going to be out there. Because he promised them this right here. He's going to keep them from the hour of temptation. But we know he ain't going to do that for everybody. We went through that last week. But this is where we want to be. But you can't go out here and not have your mind filled with righteousness, because he's going to kill you out there. Period. Just like he did in the first wilderness. It's going to be the same thing. Because he does not change. His ways do not change. That's why he's so pure. That's why he's so holy. That's why he's so consecrated. Because there's no falsehood in him. All he can do is good. And if you go against that, then he has to punish you. Right? It's just that simple. My patience, Strong's number 50, G5281, hippomone. This means steadfastness, constancy, endurance. So it's like a constant thing. You're not back and forth. You're trying to walk this thing like the same way all the time. You got to have endurance. That's why you're training right now. So you got to look at yourself like you a boxer or a wrestler or something, whatever sport you happen to used to like. You know what I mean? Because I watch some stuff sometimes. It ain't that important. It ain't like this life and death like it used to be. But these guys train. They be in the Olympics, whatever they do, they train. They get strength. They get flexibility. See, and they eat right. They do all these things to stay steadfast and be consistent. And then that gives them endurance to finish the race. Because we're running a race too right now. So in the New Testament, the characteristic of a man who is not swerved from the deliberate purpose and his loyalty to faith and piety by even the greatest trials and sufferings. That's what we got to get in our mind. Because we just got done reading, the whole earth is going to be tested. And if you ain't being consistent right now, and you not being steadfast, and you ain't got no endurance, you're going to fold. It's just that simple. You're going to fold. But he's letting you know here See, he's showing you that, this flying away thing, it bothers me because so many people is being deceived by this thing. I could just see them chase once they find out that they ain't going nowhere and all this stuff is going on. I could see them chasing these pastors down the street with a pitchfork. But you can't blame it all on the pastor. It's their fault too, because they're being too lazy and they're not really steadfast. Because they're not studying to show themselves approved. They're not seeking this thing like they should. They're halfway doing it. So they got a halfway understanding. So you can't blame everything on the pastor. Can't do it. I've been in places, once I realized that this man was crazy, I got up and went somewhere else. But a lot of them, it's the frog in the hot water syndrome. Let's keep going. Now, also from the root word 5278, to remain, to tarry behind, to remain. In other words, abide, not recede or flee. See? The battle going on, and you're gonna turn around and run. I know in the military that I was in, the battle was going on, you turned around and ran, you got shot in the back. To preserve under misfortunes. See, no matter what's coming down, under misfortunes and trials, to hold fast to one's faith in the Mashiach. To endure, bear bravely and calmly ill treatments. When we get somewhere and stuff ain't going our way, we got to be calm about it. You got to take it. You have to take it. You can't say, well, I'm going to bear up arms. Then that tells me if you do that, you ain't got no spirit. And you haven't been practicing how to obtain and keep the spirit, because you can't do that. You, like he says, you have to endure, bear bravely and calmly ill treatments. So we know some of us are gonna get chopped. Ain't no need of trying to fight getting chopped, because it's you. You ain't came that far. Let them do what they're gonna do. Now you're gonna wake up. You're gonna have a white robe. You know what I mean? You got it. It is obedience to Yahuah's laws with consistency that keeps us in contact with him, and is the breaking of Yahuah's law that cuts us off from him. This is clearly written for our instruction in Isaiah 59:1 and through 2. Behold, Yahuah's hand is not short, that it cannot save, nor his ear heavy, that it cannot hear. But your own iniquities have separated you from your Father. Then your own sins have caused him to hide his face from you. So he ain't going to listen to you. So that's why I say we got to always try to repent and get ourselves back in line. That's what we have to do it. I mean, because once we get done, even if you ain't sure, once we get done with this series, you're going to be like, I need to do something. I need to up my game, because it's going to be bad. Now, let's look at Revelation 12. Revelation 12:6. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared of Elohim, that they should feed her there 1,203 score days. They keep them telling you 3.5 years, not 7. It's all over this book. Revelation 12:6. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared of Elohim, that they should feed her, right? 12:17. I don't know how I missed that. See, I just did like one of the scribes. I made an honest mistake. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. Okay, what's so big deal about that? Which keep the commandments of Elohim and have the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach. This is the last book in Revelation. So how did it go from being under grace in Paul's letters, and then the very last book in the Bible, when all this craziness is going down, the one who the dragon, now he ain't worried about the ones that's under grace. He after these jokers. He after these people, him. Something is fishy with that. You need to ask yourself these. That's why I wonder, do you even read Revelation? But then a lot of them don't, because I mean, when I was coming through, don't go to Revelation. It's too tricky. It's deep. It's deep. You can, if you say one thing wrong or add something to take away, that could be death. Oh man, I ain't touching that. Okay. Daniel 12, and you're gonna find out with Daniel, man, Daniel was all over this thing. And one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, how long shall it be to the end of these wonders? And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto the Shamayim, and swear by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time, times, and half a time. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. Now, Daniel 12 and 11, from the time that the regular burnt offering is taken away and the abomination that makes desolate is set up, there will be 1,290 days. So who are they building this? Who they building this for? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. That's the question we need to ask ourselves. Who are these people? Who are these people building this for? Because they're not supposed to be doing that. Maybe it might be Hasatan. It might be the Antichrist, because they tell you in a minute. And they hate the Mashiach. And then Paul, the book says that if you if you don't believe in him, then you're an Antichrist. But people say, well, no, they're in a sleep state right now, and they're gonna wake up one day. These people woke as I don't know what. They so woke that a basketball player could not even say anything but the problem is if you got 1 million followers and you put something like that powerful up on your channel, look how many people they don't woke up. They don't want you woke, because we know that Esau, when his world is over, then Israel's begins. And they don't want that. So that's why they flood everybody with drugs. They flood everybody with entertainment. They keep you thinking about these stars and all this gossip columns and all this, just to keep you distracted, no matter who you are. Because really, they hate everybody. Unless you're part of their clan, they can't stand you. But people don't understand that, because they steady sending money over there, going over there, taking tours, feeding these people. And these people hate you, whoever you are, if you're not them. Got to keep that in mind. And they some devilish people too. Remember, we already saw when we went through, well, not in this class, but when we went through the thing on the dietary, right? It said that they was what? What kind of people were they? Sinister. They're silly, sinister people, because they actually think that they are the people. They actually think that they're going to beat the Mashiach when he gets here. So they got to be silly. And they so sinister, they keep perpetrating a lie, and they behind most of the criminal activity and all these other things that go along in this world. And if you don't go along with them, you're in trouble. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 35. Trey, are you there? Do you want to read for me? Hello?
Yep.
Go to Isaiah chapter 35, and we're gonna start at verse 1. We're gonna get as much of this as we can, but we still got a little time, so we ain't none. It's supposed to be the Shabbat anyway. So you're already supposed to have your food ready, all this type of stuff. So if you prepare like you're supposed to, you shouldn't have to worry about cooking nothing and none of that. This is. I know me and Elder Moshe was first coming out with this thing back in the day. Man, we be at class all day until the elder wouldn't let you out until the sun went down. Go ahead and start at verse 1, son. Isaiah 35. We're gonna look at this wilderness experience a little bit more. We ain't gonna overblow it, but we just want to kind of give some people some understanding. Go ahead, Trey. Isaiah 35. Start at verse 1.
All right. The wilderness and the solitary place shall be glad for them, and the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose.
Mm-hmm.
It shall blossom abundantly and rejoice, even with joy and singing. The glory of Lebanon shall be given unto it. The excellency of Carmel and Sharon, they shall see the glory of Yahuah and the excellency of our Elohim. Strengthen the weak hands and confirm the feeble knees. Say to them that are fearful heart, be strong and fear not. Behold, your Elohim will come with vengeance, even an Elohim with a recompense. He will come and save you. Mm-hmm. Then the eyes of the blind shall be open, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. Then shall the lame man leap as an hart, and the tongue of the dumb sing. For in the wilderness shall waters break out, streams in the wilderness, in the desert.
Oh, wow. Okay, keep going. Let's keep looking at this. Go ahead. Verse 7.
And the parched ground shall become a pool, and the thirsty land springs of water, and the habitation of dragons,
Right.
where each land shall be grass with reeds and rushes.
So you only see that when you see rivers and stuff like that. That means there's plenty of water there. Go ahead.
And the highway shall be there and a way, and it shall be called the way of holiness. The unclean shall not pass over it, but it shall be for those, the wayfaring men, though fools shall not ear there.
Right. So you can't get in this thing no matter what. You can forget it. If you ain't following the dietary law, you're not getting in there. If you ain't trying to keep these commandments, that it's gonna be the same way when in eating. That malak is that it's not gonna let you come up in there. You're not gonna do it. It's just simple as that. So if you even get that far, see, go ahead.
No lion shall be there, nor any ravenous beast shall go up there. It shall not be found there, but the redeemed shall walk there.
Right, because again, what did he say? Didn't he say he was gonna make a covenant with the animals for you, so they ain't gonna bother you? Right now, if you go out in the woods and be walking around a bear out there, he might be. I mean, the covenant is gone, so he gonna jump on you and break your bones. But we ain't gonna have to worry about that. He gonna make it so nice and sweet out there for those that get out there. Verse 10. Go ahead.
And the ransom of the return and come to Zion with songs, everlasting joy upon their head. They shall obtain joy and gladness, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away.
Right, ain't gonna be no more sadness. Ain't gonna be no more discrimination and all these type of things. You ain't gonna get attacked because you're trying to keep the commandments, and your family mad at you because you couldn't make the Christmas dinner. All this type of foolishness. Ain't gonna be none of that out there. It's gonna be peaceful. You know what I mean? But you got to look at these words. He said the redeemed and the ransomed, because a ransom was paid. The Mashiach did that. But if you don't really understand what the gospel is and what the ransom was all about, that's why you ain't keeping the commandments. Because if you understood those two things, you would know that you got to keep the commandments. All right, let's go to chapter 41 now, Trey. Isaiah chapter 41. We're going to read that. Go ahead when you get there. Go ahead and jump on.
Isaiah chapter 41. Keep silence before me, O islands, and let the people renew their strength. Let them come near, then let them speak. Let us come near together to judgment. Who raised up the righteous man from the east, called him to his foot, gave the nation before him, and made him rule over kings. He gave them as the dust to the sword, to his sword, and as a driven stubble to his bow. He pursued them and passed safely, even by the way that he had not gone with his feet. Who has wrought and done it, calling the generations from the beginning? I, Yahuah, the first, and with the last, I am he.
Mm-hmm. He said, you catch that? The first and with the last. Go ahead. Verse 5. Go ahead, man.
The eyes and feared. The ends of the earth were afraid and drew near and came.
Mm-hmm. So, and what aisles? You know, Britain is an aisle. America is an aisle. So you're gonna have some folks that's gonna see what's going on. They're gonna get afraid. Go ahead.
They helped everyone, neighbor, and everyone said to his brother, be of good courage. So the carpenter encouraged the goldsmith, and he that smote with his hammer, him that smote the anvil, saying, it is ready for the soldering. And he fastened it with nails, that it should not be moved.
That's good doctrine. That's that strong doctrine. Go ahead.
But though Israel, but you, Israel, are my servant, Jacob, who I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend.
Bam. We just got done showing you that. That's what the covenant was all about. If you want to be his friend, you got to get in covenant with him. Go ahead.
You, whom I have taken into the earth and called from the chief men there, and said unto you, You are my servant. I have chosen you and not cast you away.
Right. I still got love for you. You know what I mean? So I know you're up under these different regimes all over the place where I scattered you, but leave that alone and come on and come to me. Go ahead, verse 10.
Do not fear. I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your Elohim. I will strengthen you. Yeah, I will help you. Yeah, I will uphold you. Right hand of my with the right hand of my righteousness.
We know the right hand of his righteousness is the Yod, and we know that is the Mashiach. Go ahead, verse 11.
Behold, all they that were incensed against you shall be ashamed and confounded. They shall be as nothing, and they that strive with you shall perish.
Yeah, once they find out who you are, these people that have been doing all this that could have helped you and made it hard for you and all these other things like that, they're gonna be ashamed. But they're like, wow, what was I thinking? Go ahead, son.
You shall seek and shall not find them, even them that contended with you. They that war against you shall be as nothing, and as a thing of naught. For I, Yahuah, your Elohim, will hold your right hand, saying to you, fear not, I will help you. Fear not, you worm Jacob, and you men of Israel. I will help you, says Yahuah, and your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel.
So that's both of them, man. I mean, they gonna help you. See, so don't worry, Jacob, you little worm, because I mean, you the smallest, weakest thing on you. You strong physically, but you weak mentally, and you ain't got no might in your hand to do nothing. So don't worry about a little worm, Jacob. I'm gonna help you. Go ahead.
Behold, I will make you a sharp threshing instrument having teeth. You shall thresh the mountains and beat them small, and make the hills as chaff.
Right, because we're gonna see in this series that Israel is Yahuwah's battle axe. We're gonna show you all this. We're gonna show you how Judah is gonna take. I ain't gonna spoil it. We're gonna get there. Go ahead, son.
You shall fan them, and the wind shall carry them away. The whirlwind shall scatter them, and you shall rejoice in Yahuwah, and shall glory in the Holy One of Israel.
Right, because you're gonna separate them from yourself. Like they just remember the fan that they use to separate the wheat from the chaff. Same thing he's trying to show you. Except it's going instead of just the wind taking, it's gonna be a strong whirlwind gonna snatch them way away. You don't have to worry about this, all this foolishness no more. So why would you try to be like a system that's gonna get destroyed? Go ahead, Trey.
When the poor need water, and there is none, and their tongue fails for thirst, I, Yahuwah, will hear them. I, the Elohim of Israel, will not forsake them.
Mm-hmm.
I will open rivers in high places and fountains in the midst of the valleys. I will make the wilderness a pool of water and the dry land springs of water.
We just got done reading that, but let's see what else he's gonna do out there in the wilderness. Go ahead.
I will plant the wilderness, the cedar, the shittim tree, and the myrtle, and the oil tree. I will set in the desert the fir tree and the pine and the box tree together.
Right, because some of these trees they was used for different things, and they're gonna be out there for 3.5 years, so they're gonna need this stuff. Go ahead, Trey.
That they may see and know and consider and understand together that the hand of Yahuwah has done this, and the Holy One of Israel has created.
Okay, so that's the Father and the Son again. Go ahead, son.
Produce your cause, says Yahuwah. Bring forth your strong reasons, says the King of Jacob. Let them bring them forth and show us what shall happen. Let them show the former things that they be, that we may consider them and know that the later end of them or declare us things for to come.
Right, because now he's gonna be out there teaching you. See what I'm saying? Because he go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Show the that are to come hereafter, and we may know that you are Elohim. You do good or do evil, that we may be dismayed and behold it together.
Mhm.
Behold, you are of nothing, and your work of naught, and abomination is he that choose you. I have raised up one from the north, and he shall come. For the rising of the sun shall he call upon my name, and shall come upon princes as upon mortar, and as the potter treads clay. Who has declared from the beginning that we may know, and before time that we may say, he is righteous. Yeah, there is none that shows. Yeah, there is none that declares. Yeah, there is none that hears your words.
Go ahead.
The first shall say to Zion, behold, behold them, and I will give to Jerusalem one that brings good tidings. For I beheld, and there was no man, even among them, and there was no counselor that when I asked them could answer a word.
Mm.
Behold, they are all vanity. Their works are nothing. Their molten images are wind and confusion.
That's what's going on right now. Let's go to chapter 42 now. Go ahead, start at verse 1, Trey.
Behold, my servant who I uphold, my elect, in whom my soul delights, I have put my ruach upon him, and he shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles.
Genesis chapter 10, Gentiles. Go ahead.
He shall not cry, nor lift up, nor cause his voice to be heard in the street. A bruised reed shall he not break, and a smoking flax shall he not quench. He shall bring forth judgment into truth.
Right, because we noticed the Mashiach. Go ahead.
He shall not fail nor be discouraged till he set judgment in the earth, and the owl shall wait for his law.
Go ahead.
Thus Yahuah, or Elohim, he that created the heavens and stretched them out, he that spread forth the earth and that which come out of it, he that gives breath unto the people upon it, and a ruach to them that walks there.
Mm.
I, Yahuah, have called you in the righteousness, and will hold your hand, and will keep you, and give you for a covenant of the people, for a light of the Gentiles.
Genesis chapter 10. Go ahead, because see, they need a light too, right? You got to remember that. You know what I mean? They need a light too. So it is what it is. Because again, he already said, I mean, how he coming with it. He telling you how he coming with it. You just got to, all you got to do is he calling you in righteousness. You just got to walk in righteousness. That's all it is to it. And we got to keep that in mind. See, again, it's the ones here, the Gentiles here, they non-Hebrew people. Go ahead, Trey.
He shall not fail nor be discouraged till he set judgment in the earth, and the owl shall wait for his law.
Mm-hmm.
Thus said Yahuah, by Elohim, he that created heaven. I already read that. Sorry.
That's okay. Keep it. Wait, I ain't worried about it, man. Keep rolling. Keep rolling.
Verse 6. I, Yahuah, have called you in righteousness, and will hold your hand, and will keep your covenant. And will keep you, and will give you a covenant for the people, for a light of the Gentiles, to open the eyes, to bring out of the prisoners from the prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house.
Right, because it's all of us gonna have, everybody gonna have to have, wants to hear it. They in the prison house right now and don't even realize it because they're under the law of sin and death. Go ahead, Trey.
I am Yahuah, that is my name, and my glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them.
Yeah, because we keep his commandments. So that's how you gonna get told about it. Gotta read. That's how he tells you. Go ahead.
Sing unto Yahuah and his praise from the end of the earth. You that go down to the sea and all that is there, the isles and the inhabitants there. Let the wilderness and the cities there lift up their voice, the villages that Kedar does inhabit. Let the inhabitants of the rock sing. Let them shout from the top of the mountains. Let them give glory unto Yahuah and declare his praise in the islands. Yahuah shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. He shall cry, yea, roar. He shall prevail against his enemy.
Yeah, and this is what this whole series we doing is all about. Go ahead.
I have long time hold my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a traveling woman. I will destroy and devour at once.
Mm.
I will make waste mountains and hills and dry up all their herbs, and I will make the rivers islands, and I will dry up the pools.
Go ahead. Verse 16.
And I will bring the blind by way that they know not, and I will lead them in paths that they have not known. I'll make darkness light before them, and crooked things straight. These things will I do unto them, and not forsake
All
them.
right, so you gonna open up your eyes and so you can understand what's going on. You ain't gonna be sitting up in the blind no more, talking foolish and recklessly against him. Go ahead, because now you got understanding. Go ahead.
And I will bring the blind. They that shall be turned back, they shall be greatly ashamed. That trusted in graven images, that say to molten images, "You are our Elohim."
Right, because here it is now. He's trying to bring people out of darkness, but then some of them ain't gonna want it. They're gonna turn back because they like those graven images. They like that gay lifestyle. They like doing all the things that they doing. So they like, man, I'm going back. I like my molten images, right? Just like Israel did. Man, we was in Egypt, we had it made, but they getting beat to death and they crying all the time. This is how, man, this flesh is a trip. Go ahead, verse 18.
Verse 18. Hear you deaf, and look you blind, that you may see. Who is blind but my servant, or deaf as my messenger that I sent? Who is blind as he that is perfect, and blind as Yahuwah's servant? Seeing many things, but you observe not. Opening the ears, but you do not hear.
Right, Israel got a head like a goat. Go ahead.
Yahuwah is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable.
You're still talking about this. Now you talking about magnifying and making it honorable. Go ahead. What's wrong with these people? Go ahead. Verse 22.
But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in the prison house.
Right, you're getting robbed every day. When you get a check, you got to go to the check cashing place. You go to get something to eat out the store. Your prices is high and the food is low. I mean, whatever. Then you all up in the most people up in the prison houses all over the world. I don't care where it's at. Go ahead. They are for prey and none deliver, for spoil and none says restore, because ain't nobody trying to help you. Verse 23. Go ahead.
Whom among you will give ear to this? Who will listen and hear for the time to come?
Not many. Go ahead.
Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not Yahuwah? He's against whom we have sinned, for they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law.
And to this day, that's why you getting robbed all the time. That's why, I mean, all these things keep happening. But you try to tell them, they won't even consider. Oh man, it can't. I don't want to hear that, man. It can't be that. Okay, but then what is it? You done marched. You done sat in. You done wrote your congressman. You even elected a pastor. He still ain't trying to restore you. What's the problem? Go ahead, get the last verse, son.
Therefore, he has poured upon him the fury of his anger and the strength of battle, and it shall set him on fire all around. Yet he knew, and it burned him.
You know what I'm saying? He getting burned all around, and he still don't even know why. He still can't put it together. Go ahead, and it burned him.
Yep, and it burned him. Yet he laid it not
He
to
ain't
heart.
even laying it to heart, man. That's just how it is, man. That's just the way of this world, is it? All right. Thank you, Trey. Good job.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now let's keep rolling. Revelation 12 and 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent, 3.5 years. Psalm 72 and 9. They that dwell in the wilderness shall bow before him, and his enemies shall lick up the dust, because he's going to be busting heads wide open. Daniel 7 and 20. And the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows, right? So the other horns, he was fatter, had more information, more power. Daniel 7 and 21, I beheld, and the same horde made war with the saints and prevailed against them. So this joker gonna be having a lot of war going on, and he gonna be prevailing, because y'all gonna let him prevail. See? Revelation 13 and 11, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. Now, some of this stuff it's hard to put this book in order, because these jokers got the people that was beheaded way up in chapter 6, and then all this other stuff. I mean, again, it's these people. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months, which is 3.5 years. And what helps you put this together is because we know the 3.5 years is going, how long the tribulation is going to be. Ain't no need for Israel to go to the place of safety after the 3.5 years, because it's over. So it's going to be during the 3.5 years. We've read this. Now, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw the beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given to him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. So we can see a lot of these words, so we can see a lot of these attributes. He's copying the Mashiach. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. Now, deceived kings. I thought I cleaned this up. I've been up since long. I usually like to switch this over, but it's okay. Revelation 16 and 13. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon. Then we see some about some frogs in Egypt, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. For they are the spirits of what? Devils. See, that's how they gonna work these miracles, which go forth into the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of the great day of Elohim Almighty. So this is the thing. They don't even understand that these are the devils that's guiding them. But who's in charge of the devils? Yeah? Who causes the good and the evil? Who makes the good and the evil? The Father. He the one. Okay, go down here and deceive these jokers, man. This cat, because they ain't gonna listen. They greedy, they selfish, they killers, they child molesters, they do all these things. Go down there and then trick them and put in their mind that they can win, and then have them meet me out here in the valley of the decision so I can smash them. Now, Ephesians 1 and 4. According as he hath chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love. Uh-oh. While I was with them in the world, I kept them in thy name. Those that thou gavest me, I have kept, and none of them is lost, but the son of perdition, that the scriptures might be fulfilled. So, I mean, you got a covenant with him. You might stray, you might do this, you might do that, but he ain't gonna lose you. Maybe he like me and Elder Moshe was talking about. Okay, he might say, might do something or something might happen. Okay, I got to get myself together. You get yourself together, and he's gonna go ahead and take you out. I ain't gonna lose you. I can't. Right? And all the people who belong to this world worship the beast. They are the ones whose name were not written in the book of life that belongs to the Lamb who was slaughtered before the world was made. Because I don't want nobody to say, well, see, that's okay. I can just be crazy and do what I want because I know he's gonna bring me back. Don't do that. Because that's tempting Yahuah. Matthew 24:9, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Whoever you are that's in covenant with him, you got to get ready for this, because you might not get to the place of safety. It's always been this way for those who go against Hasatan. In the medieval times and the Roman times, this is what they was doing to you. And don't think they're not going to be doing this again. It's coming. But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogue. Why they delivering you up to the synagogue? Why would they have to take you to the synagogue? Good question, huh? And into the prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. Revelation 18:24, and in her, Babylon, was found the blood of the prophets and of the saints and of all that were slain upon the earth. So you got to understand, some of us is gonna get killed for this. But the average person, they think they finna fly away. Ain't no flying away. Not yet. We're gonna get to that. Revelation 2:9, I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. So that's where they're going to take you to. These jokers right here. So tribulation is Strong's number G2347. It means affliction, trouble, anguish, persecution, burden to be afflicted with. Look at all these people. Hey, that's him right here. I thought we was family, man. We had to be at the family reunion. No, he's a commandment keeper. Better get ready for it. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you in prison that you may be tried. He already said he's going to try the world, and you shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful until death, and I will give thee a crown of life. What more do you want? If you find yourself in this position, now, if you even had a little bit of doubt and you find yourself in this position, okay, now you know it's real. You might as well go for it. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. But you got to overcome. Otherwise, you're going to end up in the lake of fire, which is the second death. I know thy works, and where thou dwellest, even where Satan's seat is, and that thou holdest fast my name, and hast not denied my faith, even in those days wherein Antipas was my faithful martyr, who was slain among you where Satan dwelleth. And to the messenger of the church of Philadelphia, write these things, says he that is holy, he that is true, he that has the key of David, he that openeth and no man shutteth, and shutteth and no man openeth. So we know we're supposed to be striving for this. I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. So again, here we see thy works is Strong's number G2041. Your deeds. Your deeds. I mean, did you read at least 2 hours a day? Did you pray today? Did you do something good for somebody else today? Did you, when you prayed, did you throw up a good prayer for to help somebody that needs help? Your deeds. Converted to Hebrew 4399, service principal occupations of one life. If you a servant, what we did, we took the 2049, converted it back to Hebrew, and we get 4399. This is your reasonable service, like Paul said. That's supposed to be your main occupation in this life. Period. Now, We're going to come back. When we come back, we're going to start right here. The revenge of the Father, the wrath of the Lamb. So now it's going to start getting a little heavier. We're going to see how the punishment is going to come, right? We're going to see what's going to be happening. So let me get out of this. All right. Give me a second here. All right. We're going to say a quick prayer, and then when I want to have a discussion, we can. Yahuah, we come before you as always, Father, asking for mercy, thanking you for the class, asking you to remember everybody that came up here today. Father, keep them safe. Keep them up under your wing like you promised, because everyone up here has been baptized or has been immersed in your name, right? Everyone up here that's in covenant with you. And for those that couldn't make it today, for whatever reason, Father, we just ask that you keep them as well. Watch over them, Father. Keep them under your wing. And Father, again, we thank you for just being able, for you just being so merciful that you would even share this stuff with us so that we can get our mind together, so we can get our flesh under control, and we can, for once and for all, start walking the way we need to walk with you. We thank you, Father, for all that. Your kindness, Father. Thank you for being so kind to us. We are a small congregation, Father, but you know we seek your word. So we thank you, Father, for all these things. In Yahushua HaMashiach's name we pray. Hallelujah. All right, y'all.